BTS's Jimin cries hysterically after Jungkook finally reveals the secret hidden all along. Loudly crying faced broken heart that night, the air and soul was heavy, as if absorbing every breath and emotion that swirled between two hearts that had been bound together by a secret that had never really been told. BTS's Jungkook finally spoke up, revealing something he had been hiding from Jimin, and before long, Jimin was seen crying hysterically backstage. This incident made the entire fandom fixated, trying to understand what really happened between two figures who had been known so close, understanding each other without words. It all started from a live broadcast that Jungkook did the night before. In a seemingly calm yet meaningful atmosphere, he sat in his practice room, with dim lights and a cup of coffee left to cool beside him. His voice was quiet, but every sentence that came out contained an emotional burden that made thousands of spectators hold their breath. Jungkook talks about honesty, about guilt, and about someone he admires more than anyone else. "There are things that I have kept for too long, and I am afraid that if I keep silent, I will lose something most precious," he said in a trembling voice. As soon as the words came out, the comments column immediately exploded. "Is this about Jimin?" wrote a fan. "She looked almost crying," said another. Jungkook lowered his head for a long time, then sighed before continuing. "I don't want to hurt anyone, but I also can't pretend I don't feel anything. I know he might be angry or maybe won't understand, but I have to be honest at least once in my life." Not long after the broadcast ended, Korean media began to publish various speculations. But what caught the most attention was Jimin's response. A few hours after Jungkook's broadcast, Jimin appeared in a training session with his dance team. However, a staff member who was on site said that the atmosphere of the rehearsal that night felt different. Jimin seemed to be trying hard to smile, but his eyes were red, and his voice was hoarse when he asked permission to rest for a while. According to a source close to them, Jimin had received a private message from Jungkook minutes before the training began. The message contained only one short sentence: "I hope you understand why I have to talk." And that's where everything broke. Jimin reportedly cried in the dressing room, unable to contain his emotions anymore. He covered his face with his hands, his body trembling, while the staff who saw could only look at each other without daring to come closer. Army, who heard this news through social media, immediately flooded platform X, formerly Twitter, with hashtags #JiminStayStrong and #WeSupportJungkook, showing how much they love them both. But behind that support, curiosity grew. What exactly is the secret that Jungkook has been hiding from Jimin? Some longtime fans who have followed the duo's journey since their trainee days suspect that this has to do with their long-standing relationship full of emotional dynamics between admiration, deep closeness, and the small conflicts that sometimes arise behind the scenes. In various previous interviews, Jungkook has often described Jimin as someone too good to hurt, while Jimin has always referred to Jungkook as a person who is always there when the world feels heavy. The words now feel like pieces of a puzzle that are beginning to be strung together. The following night, HYB Entertainment released a short statement that actually made everything even more mysterious. "We understand the concerns of the fans. At this time, we ask for understanding and privacy for our members." There is no clarification, no additional explanation. And that was enough to make the rumors even wilder. Some media outlets even mentioned that Jungkook and Jimin met privately after the incident. A meeting that took place in their old rehearsal studio, the place where they first wrote lyrics together years ago. An insider said that the atmosphere was quiet, filled only by gazes and tears. Jimin is said to have said quietly, "I just wish you had said it earlier," before hugging Jungkook tightly without another word. CCTV footage that reportedly showed the two exiting the building with puffy eyes later went viral. Armies around the world tried to understand their expressions: fatigue, sadness, but also relief, as if the huge burden they had been carrying had finally been lifted a little. Since then, Jungkook has chosen not to appear on social media. While Jimin wrote a short message on the Weverse platform, sometimes honesty comes with tears, but also with freedom. The line took center stage, was shared millions of times, was made into a quote by fans who interpreted that the two may have found a point of honesty that they had been afraid of. However, what touched ARMY the most was the small change to Jungkook's playlist on Spotify. At the top of the list, an old song suddenly appeared between the two of them, a song they used to sing together at the beginning of their careers, the lyrics of which speak of an irreplaceable friendship despite the changing times. The song seemed to be a silent message from Jungkook to Jimin, and the whole world was again dissolved in inexplicable emotions. Now, the public is still waiting for whether the two will speak in person in the near future. But one thing is certain: Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has gone through many storms, and whenever they fall, they always find a way to get up, whether through laughter, hugs, or tears. Armies around the world agree, no matter what happens, they will continue to support them wholeheartedly, because behind the spotlight and rumors, Jungkook and Jimin are just two human beings who learn to face the truth with courage, love, and tears. After that tearful night, the world seemed to stop, turning for the ARMY. The entire social media is still filled with snippets of videos, theories, and endorsements from different corners of the world. But behind the rumble of news and debate among fans, there is an atmosphere of silence that accompanies two names that never escape attention: Park Jimin and Jungkook. A few days after the emotional broadcast, Jungkook reportedly did not attend some of the previously scheduled small agendas. He disappeared from the public radar, much to the dismay of fans. But on the third day, a fan accidentally captured a moment of himself in a small cafe in the Itaewon district. Jungkook sat alone in a corner of the room, wearing a black hoodie and a hat that partially covered his face, staring at an almost cold cup of coffee. No smiles, no cameras, just silence clinging like a shadow. Witnesses at the scene said Jungkook seemed to be thinking hard, playing with a ring on his finger several times. A ring that fans once said was similar to one Jimin had worn in one of BTS's past photo shoots. Although it seemed simple, the small gesture made new speculations emerge. Did the ring have a special meaning that only the two of them understood? Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Jimin returned to the rehearsal room. The staff said that he practiced longer than usual, as if he wanted to escape from his own thoughts. The music was loud, but between the pauses of the song, his body stopped moving. He stared at the mirror in front of him, his eyes looking blank, as if looking for someone in the reflection. In that moment of silence, a dancer who was with him said that Jimin had whispered quietly, he must be thinking about the same thing. In the evening, ARMY was again made uneasy when Jimin suddenly uploaded a photo on Weverse. The photo looks simple: the night sky of Seoul, with a crescent moon hanging between thin clouds. But her caption made millions of hearts tremble. Some things can't be described in words, but I hope he knows. Thousands of comments immediately flooded the post, and it didn't take long for the hashtag Jimin and Jungkook to be trending again around the world. Interestingly, a few hours after Jimin's upload, Jungkook reappeared on his music platform with a small update. He added a new song to his playlist. The song is Moonchild from RM, whose lyrics talk about someone finding calm in the sadness and moonlight. The ARMY captures the message as a form of silent communication between the two, like a secret language understood only by those who truly know Jimin and Jungkook's hearts.